I wanna say before I get to reading poems, um, it was so great to hear Fatima read their poem, and I hope that y'all will buy the book. And I'm gonna say something that I love about the book that is an extension of what I love about Fati's work, and beyond that, like an extension of what I love about Fati as a person. I tend to think that you're really fortunate if I don't know. I think that people believe mentorship is this hierarchical process where, oh, wow, thank you. Oh, what's your name? Thank you, Danny. Shout out, Danny. I wasn't even like wish casting. I was just like, I am clumsy and, I think people believe in mentorship as this kind of hierarchical structure where someone looks up to someone who is quote unquote older or quote unquote more experienced than them in their work or their art. But I have been fortunate that most of my mentors have been people I love who are working directly alongside me. And what emboldens me about Fati's work is that they're always kind of challenging their own history and the people, and also challenging history broadly, while also still being generous to themselves. Like the speaker is generous to himself in the work, and I think that's very hard to do. And so I hope you'll get the book, and I hope you enjoy reading, hearing Fati read. I'm gonna read some new poems. And if you'll forgive me, I do have the World Cup score up on the because I am both a sports boy and a poem boy. It's 0-0. Real barn burner. Poem's called When All Else Fails, You Can Always Say a Lie Out of Spite. The cops shot up the trap house, and bullets tore through a portrait of Black Jesus. There is no metaphor because the bullet does not believe in any God other than itself, but I love the portrait. And I love the black boy in it being lifted from the river by Black Jesus, cold Black Jesus, gold rings on his fingers, sunlight pouncing on his arms, his jewels on the small face of the Black boy, which in the moment looks as if he was just given the keys to a world where no one he loves will ever die. The whole village encircling the scene, hands on their hearts. Wasn't no one allowed to smoke in the room with the portrait? Wasn't no one allowed to cook or curse or clean a gun? The boy could have been any of us once. Could be any of us again. I'm him at 9. I'm him at 15. I'm him at 21, running the streets while someone's grandmother prays for my soul to be saved. I'm him today. I'm watching the corner boys fire their guns into the air because it is a new year and they're trying to pull down the starlight again. They're trying to hustle their own piece of sky. My God, I want them to die on their time and no one else's. My God, I want some of us to live forever. Because I just get to come in with a giant bag of something cool and then leave in an hour. And that's the kids like, the parents say, the kids like. My best friend has a 5-year-old who last year took up cross country. And I called her, because I'm a runner, I like running, but I was also like, I don't know if 5-year-olds should be running cross country. She's well, he's gonna run a mile. And I was like, that seems worse to me. And so I went to his first meet, and this shit was wild. They just go to a park, and they run a mile through like trees. And they go into the trees, without adult supervision, by the way, and they are trusted to come out from the trees at an undetermined time. And that was terrifying to me. And so because I'm like a people pleaser who needs to fix things, I casually suggested like, hey, someone should be running through the trees with these kids and not running through the trees alone. So guess what I ended up doing for the rest of the season? Here's a poem about my best friend's 5-year-old who I love very much. Watching my best friend's son run a mile, I consider the work of a magician who insists the world is a horrible place. All that matters during your life is the time between witnessing the ordinary transform itself into the extraordinary, even if only for the frayed thread of a rapidly descending minute. An animal carrying its baby across a river makes you momentarily forget that, if it wanted to, the animal could kill. You spend a lifetime traveling towards the people you will love forever, and when you find them, you will momentarily remember that one of you will outlive all of you, which is also the ordinary turned extraordinary. The feather from a bird's wing tucks into the wide-brimmed hat of your father and is never taken by the wind. I am learning that one major function of a child's life is forward movement. How lucky to get to ride the coattails of unhindered propulsion. repulsion. I wonder, at what age does the world reveal itself to be terrible? And how long can any of us hold back the revelations? At what age does the extraordinary transform into the brutal ordinary? The magician insists all that matters during your life is a look on the face of someone who was amazed by something that was once pain. Something that might still be pain for you, not for someone you love. I tell my friend, I cannot believe these 5-year-olds have to run a mile. I cannot believe they just disappear to the trees and then they come out later at some undetermined time. I cannot believe he will emerge eventually 10 minutes older and still in awe of the world. I cannot believe he's gone and then comes back with a slightly different heart. I would not miss any of this. I would not miss it for the world, the wretched and undeserving world where, for a moment, he emerges from the trees and looks to see if the sky is still all there.
Azabi means freedom. Freedom song. What does it mean to be free? I sip coke at my puppos, Azabi on the walls of the university. Free Kashmir sprawling, Azabi on my body. When I walk the streets of Lahore, men stare. Can I write the poem that makes me free, that brings Azabi to my lips? I say I want to drink from its waters, but I know what it means to be human and dumb, to pray and when Azabi comes to shun, to judge and say, not like this. Control a bitch deeply unfree that sticks me in my own mind. Azabi IQ, come help free me from me. What if overworked God, the policeman's gun turning towards the sand, the ocean's Azabi crashing through wave after blue into the fishing boat, heaving life from its water. Everything is a freedom song. I hear Azabi in the wind and in the flood, in the sparkle of the sun on a child's arm. It calls to me, and I turn my back when Azabi isn't convenient. In my bed, I dream of a baby with my love's face in my fingers, biologically impossible. Azabi could be a good name for a kid I muse, us gays dreaming farther into the future than we're alive. Our pretend kid, Azabi in a way that dances like a ghost at the edge of my dream. I'm a shadow girl, born to someone else's longing. Azabi, please. My grandfather made his boys promise to not return to Kashmir until it's free. Our house ours again, and Azabi told in the streets, we've been waiting a long time. Return our rights, they say, maybe it slips water through my fingers. Azabi, what's a dream and what's a wait? Everything a maze and another maze, and you pray away, and the poems on your lips to every god. Azabi.
We're here today, healing the storm, healing one another with our words, and it seems only fitting that this poem's title is Beazor. A beazor is a tightly packed mass of undigested or inedible material that is often found in the stomachs of predatory animals. The word derives from the Persian Pazar, which means antidote. Alchemists believed that a beazor had the power of a universal antidote that could counteract the effects of any poison, a belief that held sway into the 18th century. When they pried open her mouth, they found the bones of 1,000 birds pressed into a hoary ball far back in her gullet. The beginnings of an Afghan quilt in a motley of undiscovered colors, masticated smatterings of ill-formed lines of poetry, and every clever comeback she ever bit back. When they pried open her mouth, they found the topographic map to Atlantis drawn delicately under the webbing of her tongue, a key of pyrite crammed into a bismuth lock that would not turn despite all encouragement, old bite marks from lovers who tried to consume her with a hunger some call love. When they pried open her mouth, they found a vial containing all the tears of all the girls she could have been, every murdered dream she sacrificed to become the woman she would one day become. A long-forgotten memory she recalled fondly as her future, a secret from someone no one could place. When they pried open her mouth, the hinge of her jaw being forced apart, sounded reminiscent of her mother, robing a myriad of disappointments into solid sentiment, tasted like the plaintive whine of men asking her why she wouldn't let them be nice to her, screeched like strangers asking her what she had to smile about, or why she wouldn't smile more. When they pried open her mouth, the elected politicians said it was in her best interest to let them make the decisions, told the assembled physicians to prioritize not injuring the ambergris they were trying to extract from within her, told the assembled crowd it was a cardinal sin to deny them access, said it wasn't very Christian of her to care. When they pried open her mouth, they did it for the most biblical of reasons. Muttered something about trumpets and seals, claimed God was orchestrating the atrocity, and were too busy singing hymns to hear the word. Stop. This somehow made it okay. When they pried open her mouth, the pain of her jaw being forced apart caused a few dark inklings with wings to spill out of her gorge. Petty demons she had long since quelled alighted from the belfry of her breast and laughed, shrieking in delight to be free of her. The mob clucked like hens and clutched their pearls and claimed it was further proof of her illness. Said no meant yet that it was a test, pled the ends always justified wanton cruelty. What came next, some called a miracle, others avoidable. As they shone their false torches deep within her hidden places, a sigh began. From within her or upon the wind, one would be hard-pressed to say, a breath carried across the breeze that seemed to breathe across the ages, swept every continent, exhaled across every level of time. A sigh of resignation, a sigh of disappointment, a sigh of surrender that is the sound of a love disembarking. A rumble began in her chest that sounded like the beating of wings, or the heavy drumming footsteps of a great spirit finally departing. The sigh became a shipwreck cast within a sea of wet heavings. Golden galleons long sunk hoisted sails along the ridges of her tonsils. A long lost language of remembering began to murmurate like a shanty, her enchanted arms stretched into oars that stroked the air. A mask sprung up from her gums, her teeth turned to sea turtles. The rains began and did not stop for 100 years, washing away all time and history of the tragedy. When it was done, all that remained was a small crane of hope floating on a piece of flotsam. It righted itself on unsure, spindly legs. And so we began again.